Hello, and a very good morning to you. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful Onpassive day. My name is Jeffrey, and this is part two of Shifting with Onpassive. In part one, we talked about the internet, media, and money. They sound like elements of the economy. So let's talk a little bit about the new economy, the rise of the peer-to-peer economy, which is another big indicator of global shifts. Investopedia says peer-to-peer is a decentralized economic model whereby two people can buy or sell goods and services directly without a third party and without the use of a company or a business. I hope that you're getting that decentralization is a key to the world shift. Peer-to-peer started years ago with music sharing, but advancement in the tech have shifted the model mainstream with use by companies like Airbnb and Uber and Craigslist, Sidecar, Dog Vacay, and there's a whole lot more. Blockchain is P2P as well, and there are a whole lot of very successful P2P lending platforms out there as well. P2P is also referred to as a sharing economy because there's no centralized control of power. Yeah, it's decentralized. Imagine that. It allows people to profit more directly from the sales of their goods and services by not paying wholesalers and what have you. It allows for people to own and control their own means of production and finished goods instead of just being paid in the production process. Owner activities like that are centered around tangible products are a bit different and a whole lot easier for digital companies, information tech companies like Onpassive. Because of the ease of use characteristic, not only is the peer-to-peer economy growing, but as many people move to the internet as part of the overall shift, another shift has occurred, one that has fostered the laptop lifestyle. We know we love that one, right? And that's where people are abandoning the old 9 to 5s in favor of independent careers or job hopping, as some call it, within sharing communities and virtual workspaces. A lot of these people are now working from home. And it's not just younger people looking to get the control. This whole P2P thing has the top down economic business model in a little bit of a bind because it's a legitimate system with a decentralized bottom up approach that gives the power back to the people. Take a short listen to Onpassive's CEO and founder, Mr. Ash Mufareh, as he touches upon that subject in this short clip.
This is exactly what we're doing on Passive. We're bringing the power back to people, average people. That's the real power. We're the majority. We don't trust the leaders all the time, sadly, because especially when it's in politics, I'm not generalizing in any way, but mostly or quite often we see that it's unfair, injustice, and for their personal selfish benefits, they would do anything. And we cannot trust that. So we have to take our life back, not against them. It just we're not depending on them. We're doing our work independently. We have the power. We're the majority. We have the need. And our needs are more legit. We're not talking about lavish life and just doing insane things. We're talking about survival, having a decent, dignified life. That's it.
And that is exactly what Onpassive has done. Through the Onpassive business model, with a ready-made customer base of millions, eventually billions with a B, Onpassive is giving the power back to the people through an automated, done-for-you system that pays you to use it. Though it does have a lot of products, for the founder, it boils down to time and money. The system reclaims our time for us through automation, and it gives us money by paying us a residual income that grows month after month for life. Every product is compatible for use with every other product and a part of its digital ecosystem, automated through the use of AI, and supports the world paradigm shift to P2P, which is a sharing economy, by fostering decentralization. In this way, Onpassive takes massive wealth from the control of a few elites at the peak of a top-down structure, puts it into the hands of a million founders and hundreds of millions, eventually billions with a B, of customers. By the time we launch, on average, we're going to have a founder positively affecting the economy at about every 200 square miles. Some are going to affect less, some will affect more. But try to imagine the economic impact we'll all have as products and services flow to and through billions of customers. In any case, Onpassive founders will constitute a global net of benevolently minded providers blanketing the earth and providing economic stimulus through the characteristics of global business and the attributes of personal sharing. And speaking of abundance, I'm sure many of you have heard me talk about our mindset and how some of us live in some level of lack because we were taught to. It's all we've ever known. But there's a new paradigm of abundance taking root in the collective minds of humanity because we realize there really is enough of everything. Getting it is the problem. It's not that we don't have it, it's that we don't share it. Understanding this has made the abundance mindset another indicator of the global shift. So how does this distribution of abundance start? By passing it down or over or passing it on or whatever, right? But most of us are familiar with the new term, paying it forward. And at a very large scale, that is exactly what Ash Mufara has done, and that's what he's got planned with Onpassive. He is paying it forward to 1 million founders through a global company with millions upon millions of customers. Think about this for a second. If somebody with more than I have shares with me, how much more have they lifted me rather than lowering themselves? Paying it forward is a way to bless others while blessing ourselves. Though grounded in the unseen, the quantum, the spiritual realm, if you will, the benefits of giving is a law of physics. Right now, the world produces enough food to feed 10 billion people. But those making less than a couple bucks a day can't afford to get it. Another example is water. There's more than enough water on this planet. Getting it cleaned and desalinated, that's the trick. There's more than enough of everything. We just need to get it flowing. But our own economic systems are the roadblocks. Unfortunately, we find our downfall in the greed and the corruption that we've talked about previously. Mr. Mufara knows this and has spoken personally to founders about the injustice of the global economic top-down system in February of this year. Please listen for a moment as he relates these challenges to those challenges in India.
Let me give you the example of India. India, as we all know, is the second largest global population after China. They got a lot of people. Now, they're known by their above average educated. There's a big gap. There are people who live in above the sky, above the clouds in India. And then 99% plus, I'm sure it's more than that, let's not be accurate, they live below the ground, hardly surviving and eating each other. So how could this make sense? Mostly this is the case everywhere. I mean, we live in a great country in the United States. The biggest part that makes it a leading country, there is a sense of justice. I mean, it's not ideal, but okay, decent. And there's a middle class. There's not like top, and bottom. Like, okay, there's in between. So that is, if we do the calculation, this is the vast majority of the global population. I mean, this average middle class way of living, that is everybody. So we kind of changed the game in Onpassive. We flipped it around. Okay, we decided most businesses, they would think, if so and so would be with us, if this company would endorse our business, any business, or become a customer, that's it. That's all we need. So here's the thing: it's that privilege always. They're giving the advantage and the privilege to the big guys, to the big money. Why? So we just switched it over and we said we're going to give the power to the average person, to the little guy. I don't know if we agree on the term, but the bottom line is to real people, everyday people from everywhere, every walk of life.
By helping to implement a more evenly distributed power back to the people, in Mr. Mufara's own words, Onpassive becomes the correction for the corruption. Gandhi summed up abundance like this: the world has enough for every man's need, but not for every man's greed. And so, we're finally waking up to the fact that there is more than enough to go around. You see, the problem's not with what we have available. It's with the powers that be that control the system of distribution of what's available. I'm saying there's enough for everybody to live comfortably if we all do our part to exercise compassion for those that are less fortunate than ourselves. Doing that develops a natural trickle down effect. Think about it for a minute. If we all choose to share with those that have less than we do, eventually the bottom fills and begins to work its way back up into abundance. That's equity. That's where we're headed. The entire global economic system is shifting towards that through the mechanism of decentralization. This is a great time to be alive. Just look around. The shift is happening. Take a look at renewables, energy in particular. It's a foregone conclusion and means the power over the energy supplies in the grid is decentralizing. Incidentally, that's another indicator for a global shift. And you know what? We're going to develop that distribution of free energy. You wait. But there's more. Once we start installing new forms of decentralized government, currencies, education, medicine, yada, 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 and as we disconnect those systems from the greed of personal gain, along with increased technological capabilities, it won't be long before we're reforming our systems and everything is distributed more evenly so everybody has enough of whatever is needed to live a decent life. And like Mr. Mufara says, it's not like we're trying to make everybody stupid rich and live in the lavish lifestyle of the rich and famous, as they say. Of course, it is my firm belief, nevertheless, that Onpassive will make a whole lot of millionaires. But as a whole, what we're talking about is helping to lift everyone minimally to the economic state of having what is needed to live a comfortable life. And that's doable. OnPassive has risen to the occasion with its own radical new business based on the connectedness and mutual benefit that we've been talking about, and it's a tailor-made solution for people with a benevolent mindset living in a sharing economy. And that brings us to the final topic of this video, the global consciousness shift. People are starting to see themselves as more than just individuals living in isolation, apart from others. Instead, we're seeing ourselves as connected to and an active part of the collective consciousness of humanity and of planet Earth. This shift is mostly possible because of a combination of three changes in recent years. The first one is the Earth's position relative to our galaxy. The second, our sun has entered a quiet phase. And third, the shifting of our magnetic grid. Additionally, our awareness has been amplified by the internet and increased travel because that has allowed us to connect more fully. We are truly a global society, taking notice of not just what is in our own countries and cultures, but those that are all over the world. This new reality is showing people that there's a lot more to life than just money, and our connection to all living things is equally valuable, if not more so. If you see this, great. If not, great. In any case, our present journey started 30 or so years ago while we were looking at a Cold War with a whole lot of superpowers, as many as it could, trying to nuclearize without the option for peace. At the time, it was all about strength. The catalyst that started to change that was the bankruptcy of the Soviet Union. Who knew, right? Against all potentials, we made it into the new millennium. And that was a timeline marker for us because there were prophecies that said that the potential was that we were not going to make it. Then 9/11 happened, and that event pushed a whole tsunami of compassion all over the globe. Firmly in a new timeline, that wave has been gaining momentum ever since. Today, the world wants peace. And with a new consciousness based on compassion that is compelling decentralization and an abundant, distributive global economy, there is potential for some of our kids, perhaps our grandkids, to see true world peace in their lifetimes as compassion becomes the rule of the day. Compassion brings higher consciousness with benevolence, which fosters abundance through compassion. Yeah, it's a beautiful circle, magnetic in a way. In keeping with that, OnPassive is here to severely shake up the status quo. You see, Onpassive is disruptive in the conventional sense of products and services within an industry because it establishes a new online model of business that will cause the old model to fade away. But it's more than just disruptive because from bottom to top, from left to right, it champions decentralization of systems. And decentralization will lead to reforming entire central based systems into distributive based systems to give economics and power back to the people. I'm going to leave you with a few quotes about abundance. The key to abundance is meeting limited circumstances with unlimited thoughts. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Plant seeds of happiness, hope, success, and love. It will all come back to you in abundance. This is the law of nature. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. Abundance is not something we acquire. It's something we tune into. Abundance is about being rich, with or without money. Giving is the secret of abundance. As long as we remain vigilant at building our internal abundance, an abundance of integrity, an abundance of forgiveness, an abundance of service, an abundance of love, then external lack is bound to be temporary. No matter who you are, I really hope that this message resonates with you. If so, you're the leader that we're looking for. Join us. If you've been invited by someone, then get back with them. Join that team. If not, I'm inviting you to join us by clicking join here in the description box below. But regardless of whatever you decide to do, I really hope you enjoy life and enjoy it to the full. And we wish nothing but blessing upon blessing for you and your entire family.